I definitely love the offseason moves, and I definitely agree. Right now, I know a lot of people are giving the Milwaukee Bucks that kind of edge right now, obviously trading for Lillard, you got that splashy name. But when you look at this Celtics team, like obviously Kristaps Porzingis is a bit of a unicorn out there. I mean, he's giving me a heart attack watching him, come up missing layups and jumping for no reason because he's 7'3". Obviously injuries are a concern. But if he is healthy, that's just another defensive look. That's another offensive look that they just have never had. Obviously, you bring a guy like Al Horford off the bench. I'm assuming they're going to probably be staggering Drew Holiday and Derek White at the helm of their offense. I don't think they're going to lose that much from Marcus Smart. I think he was a tiny bit overrated in terms of a defender, and I definitely think he was a little too aggressive offensively late in games for them in the past. So I didn't mind seeing him leave. And I think guys like Lamar Stevens, just some of these like sneakier, quiet moves that Brad Stevens made are going to allow them to really sub in guys and let Joe Mazzulla make some matchup decisions that maybe they couldn't have made last year. And I just think that Mazzulla's obviously this is Mazzulla's second season. We talked last year about his inability to kind of make decisions down the stretch, and they revamped his coaching staff. I think this is going to be definitely a more successful year. And if I had to put my money on one team right now, it would definitely be the Celtics.
So I do. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable Wemby prop, but everybody's looking at the points, the rebounds and stuff. I'm looking at his turnovers. So his turnover line's at 2.5, but this is something I just think that he's going to go over this. He's gone over this, and he went over this in like 70% of games in the French league at 1.5. So there's a decent amount of juice on it right now, but I think it's honestly like a full turnover short. And I kind of compare him like in terms of like build. Obviously, he's still bigger, longer, lankier, but like when Kevin Durant came into the league, his first like month of the season, he had multiple turnover games, like 5, 6, 4. So at 1.5, I don't like the juice could be like minus 160, and I think it's still worth laying on this Wemby prop.
SGA to lead the NBA 4-1, and Chet for Rookie of the Year is plus 350. I'll jump in here and say it right now. I love SGA to lead the league in scoring. He averaged 31 points a game last year. Chet could have a great season, but if it's not going to be Wemby, I'd probably be more comfortable actually with Scoot. I think Scoot's going to get a ton of shots, a ton of minutes in Portland, and have a great opportunity to average 20 points a game if they give him those opportunities there. And Chet, he's on a talented team where, again, is he going to put up the numbers when SGA is there to begin with? Like, there's a lot of talent on this Thunder team, which we're watching right now. They're tied at 35 with the Bulls, so give me SGA to lead the league in points per game.
Yeah, me too. I don't think unless Wemby gets hurt, I don't think anyone's taking that from him. That's why it's gone from plus 125 to minus 145 in like a couple of days, and there's not even been an NBA game played that he's been in. So, yeah, I think SGA could end up with averaging 34 points per game, something like that. I just saw him do off the dribble, step back three, nothing but net. And if he adds that or added that to his game in the offseason, it is over for the league.
Yeah, and he's got to be feeling himself a little bit. He just signed with Skims, him and Nick Bosa, the new male Kim Kardashian line. Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Shay's endorsing.
What
Shirt
is
off.
It? But like, what's the stuff?
So we got some boxer briefs. Yeah. So Nick Bosa, Shai, and then somebody else. I got to figure out who that third. I think it's a soccer player.
They're
I got to go
probably
back
like
and look.
$50 a pop too, and you're like, I'm not.
They're pretty expensive.
Would never do it.
They're at the Nordstrom. If anybody does want to go check them out, I do know.
They're at the Nordstrom.
Are they at the Walmart?
The
too?
Nordstrom rack has them as well.
Did you go locally on the Facebook?
But no, I'm gonna lock agreement with you guys on this one. I think Shai leads the league in scoring. I think that's very possible. The only thing that's ever really shut Shai down since he's came into the league is the Thunder. Like, they were winning too many games and they wanted better draft picks, so they shut him down. He's a bucket. And I don't think like Giddey's going to take away from the scoring. I don't think Chet's going to take away from the scoring. So I think he could average 34, 35 points per game. And I'm all in on Wemby. I think Wemby lives up to the hype. And we haven't hyped up a player like this since LeBron, right? I'm trying to think.
Oh, no, absolutely. It's definitely him.
Definitely not. Yeah,
it's LeBron and then Wemby, without question.
Yeah. I'm taking the Chargers in Survivor. Chargers can't lose at home to the Bears. Justin Herbert these last 2 weeks has been bad. It's not just Brandon Staley or Kellen Moore or the pass defense. Herbert's getting a bunch of balls batted down at the line of scrimmage. Like, he's 6'5". That shouldn't be a thing. And I know that they need a true number two. Who does number two work for? And I know that Mike Williams ain't walking through that door, and Quentin Johnson doesn't look very good.
Great
They probably
reference, by the
should
way.
have drafted Dalton Kincaid. Keenan Allen historically is having the best season a wide receiver for the Chargers has ever had. Nobody's even paying attention because this team's underperforming again. They have to beat the Bears. This game's at home. There's actually probably going to be more Bear fans. Herbert's probably going to have to work with a silent count. But the Chargers, I'm using them. And if I lose, I lose. But I feel like that's the best bet because I've already used the Chiefs, and I could see the Broncos actually winning that game outright.
No, you can't.
You're right. And then I still have the Eagles, but I like the Commanders. Commanders are one of my favorite bets this week. They always play the Eagles tough, and we're going to do this 7-point thing again. So for me, it's the Chargers this week in Survivor.
Let's just start big picture here with a little old, I guess we could say, state of the Buffalo Bills at this point. Where are we, and what's the temperature, not outside, but around this team up there in Buffalo?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on, as always. I would say it's a little apprehensive right now. This team has lost a couple of games that people feel they shouldn't have lost, and the game that they did win in between was against the New York Giants in the last play of the game, so that didn't go so well. And I think people are wondering right now, what's gone on with the offense the last few weeks? It just hasn't lived up to standard. They've had really slow starts. And then on defense, just missing really key players at all three levels. Daquan Jones is out maybe for the year with a pec injury, at least long term. Matt Milano's probably out for the year with a leg injury. Tre'Davious White is out for the year with a torn Achilles. And when you lose guys like that, these are Pro Bowl level players and all pro players in the case of Milano and, Tre'Davious White. Now, I don't know if you can really recover from that. In the last couple of weeks, it's shown that there's obviously been a drop-off in defensive play because of it.
Saul, do you think that the problem for the offense is the play calling? Because Ken Dorsey kind of came out and said maybe Sean McDermott has more of an input than we thought on the offensive side of the ball? Or do you think it's, Dalton Kincaid finally got going last week. They don't really have that number 2 wide receiver. We all wanted to be Gabe Davis. But other than Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen being Superman, there's not a whole lot to this offense for whatever reason. What do you think the problem is? Is it the play calling or is it more the personnel?
Well, there's a lot there. Let me just say what happened this week. Sean was the one who actually said, he said, look, I'm the head coach. I'm involved in all aspects, but when things aren't going right, there's going to be more communication. But I think there was too much made about that this week, guys. I mean, he also said he lets his coaches do their jobs, and he is the head coach, and that's what you have to do. So I don't think it's like Sean's, ruling the offense or something with some sort of fist. I don't think that's happening at all. Of course, I think it's always kind of in between, and there's always some truth in the middle. Sure, could the play calling be better at times? Absolutely. If you go watch the All-22, which a lot of people do and break down, plays are there. The guys are schemed open, and throws aren't being made, or there's a bad read or a bad block, and all those things happen. You could probably look at every team in the NFL, and those things are happening. One thing is the Bills did change a lot and go to a lot of 12 personnel this year. That's something the organization wanted. They drafted Dalton Kincaid to go with Dawson Knox, have a lot more 12 personnel to put teams in binds. I think they're actually better when they go more 11 personnel, as they did the last several years with all those receivers on the field, and go up tempo and let Josh be Josh. But I think that's the biggest thing, which is to really look at this offense and kind of where there's been a shift. Guys, they put the reins on Josh Allen running. And it's so funny because everyone would say for the last few years, can't have this guy run, can't have this guy run. Well, shoot, you need him to run. That's who he is. Do we say Lamar Jackson shouldn't run? I mean, Josh Allen has, I think, 27 runs on the year, something like that. By now, he should have around 60 usually. And I understand the long game. We all do. They're trying to keep him healthy. That's totally respectable. But there are times where you have to have Josh Allen be Josh Allen and make Josh Allen things happen. And it's not happening because they're basically kind of reined him in.